They say you die twice. One time when you stop breathing and a second time a bit later on, when somebody mentions your name for the last time. Most people are terrified of that second death, being forgotten. It is the ultimate failure. Think about the last party you went to, or the last meeting. There was someone there, someone you can't get out of your head. They weren't the loudest, they weren't the best looking, but they had gravity. When they walked out of the room, the energy died. And then there is you. Did you leave a mark, or were you just background noise? The truth is painful. Most people are forgettable because they are trying too hard to be liked. They follow the script. They smile when they are supposed to smile. They nod when they are supposed to nod. They are safe, and safe is invisible. To be unforgettable, you have to be dangerous. Not physically, but psychologically. You need to occupy space in their mind, rent-free. You need to hack the glitches in human psychology that force people to obsess over you. Today, we are going to look at 5 psychological keys to becoming the person no one can forget. Number 1, the void. Most people are terrified of silence. When a conversation stops, even for 2 seconds, they panic. They feel the social pressure building up in their chest, so they start talking. They blabber. They fill the empty space with useless words, nervous laughter, or boring facts about the weather. This is a sign of weakness. It screams, "Please like me. Please don't judge me." The unforgettable person does the opposite. They embrace the void. They use silence as a weapon. Here is the psychology. When you are silent, you create a vacuum. The human brain hates a vacuum. It wants to fill it. When you look at someone and don't speak immediately, their brain goes into overdrive. They start wondering, what is he thinking? Does he approve? Did I say something wrong? In that moment of silence, you become the judge. You become the high-status individual in the room. So how do you use this? Next time you are in a conversation, try this. When someone asks you a question, do not answer immediately. Wait, look them in the eyes. Count to 3 in your head. 1, 2, 3. Then answer slowly. This tiny gap of silence creates tension. Tension creates emotion. And emotion creates memory. Be comfortable in the silence, and you will seem infinitely more powerful than the person rushing to fill it. Number 2, the black mirror. We are all narcissists. It is sad, but it is true. The favorite subject of every human being on earth is themselves. We walk around with a spotlight on our heads, thinking everyone is watching us. Most people try to be unforgettable by talking about themselves. They brag about their job, their car, their trips. They think, if I tell them how cool I am, they will remember me. Wrong. If you talk about yourself, they might remember your story, but they won't care about you. They will just think you are arrogant. To be truly unforgettable, you must become a mirror. You must reflect them back to themselves, but bigger, brighter, and more interesting. This is often called active listening, but that is too soft. I call it the black mirror. You need to make them feel like they are the only person in the world who matters. When they speak, you don't just listen, you focus on them with an intensity that is almost uncomfortable. You allow their ego to expand. Psychologically, this triggers a massive dopamine release in their brain. Being heard and understood is as addictive as a drug. If you are the source of that drug, they become addicted to you. How do you do it? Ask questions that go one layer deeper. If they say, I work as a lawyer, don't say, cool, my cousin is a lawyer. That pulls the spotlight back to you. Instead, ask, what does it feel like to defend someone you know is guilty? Make them feel deep. Make them feel complex. If you can make someone feel fascinated by themselves, they will associate that feeling with you forever. They won't remember exactly what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. Number 3, the pattern break. The human brain is a prediction machine. To save energy, our brains ignore things that are predictable. If you walk the same way to work every day, you stop seeing the houses. You stop seeing the trees. Your brain is on autopilot. People are the same. We have social scripts. Hi, how are you? Good, and you? Good. This interaction is invisible. It is deleted from memory the second it ends because it followed the pattern perfectly. To be unforgettable, you must be a glitch in the matrix. You must break the pattern. When you break the script, you force their brain to wake up. You force them to pay attention. This is called the von Restorff effect in psychology. It states that an item that stands out like a sore thumb is more likely to be remembered than other items. You don't need to be a clown. You don't need to wear a neon suit. You just need to be slightly unexpected. How do you use this? Change the default answers. If someone asks, "What do you do?" don't give your job title. Give a description of the struggle. Instead of, "I'm a writer," say, "I torture myself with words until they make sense." If someone asks, "How are you?" don't say, "Fine." Say, "I am dangerously close to being happy." It doesn't matter what you say, as long as it is not the script. Even a small deviation forces their brain to record the moment. Be the glitch. Number 4, the scar. Perfection is boring. We think we want to be perfect. We think if we have the perfect hair, the perfect answers, and the perfect confidence, people will love us. But actually, perfection creates distance. Perfection feels cold. It feels artificial. We can admire a statue, but we cannot connect with it. There is a psychological concept called the Pratfall effect. It was discovered by a researcher named Elliot Aronson. He found that if a competent person makes a small mistake, like spilling coffee on themselves, people actually like them more. Why? Because it makes them real. It makes them relatable. It removes the threat. The unforgettable person is not afraid to show a scar, a flaw, a weakness. This is not about complaining. Nobody likes a victim. This is about being confident enough to show that you are not a robot. How do you use this? Admit a small failure. If everyone is bragging about their successes, tell a funny story about how you failed. If you are in a high-pressure situation, admit that you are nervous. Saying, "I'm actually terrified right now," with a smile is the ultimate power move. It shows you are in control of your own vulnerability. When you show a flaw, you give people permission to relax. You lower their defenses. And when their defenses are down, you can walk right into their memory. Number 5, the ghost. This is the most important rule. Always leave them wanting more. Human beings are obsessed with unfinished business. It is called the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains remember uncompleted tasks much better than completed ones. If you watch a movie and it ends on a cliffhanger, you think about it for days. If everything is resolved perfectly, you forget it by the time you reach the parking lot. Most people stay too long. They talk until they have nothing left to say. They stay at the party until the lights come on and the magic is gone. They drain their own value. To be unforgettable, you must become a ghost. You must vanish before the peak drops. You need to leave the conversation when it is at its absolute highest point. When everyone is laughing, when the connection is deepest, that is the moment you check your watch and say, "I have to go." It feels wrong. Your instinct will be to stay and enjoy the good vibes, but you must resist. If you leave at the peak, their memory of you freezes at that peak. They are left with a feeling of more. They wanted to hear the end of that story. They wanted to ask you one more question. Because you denied them that satisfaction, their brain keeps looping the interaction, trying to find closure. But you are already gone. Conclusion. So there you have it. The void, the mirror, the glitch, the scar, and the ghost. These are not just tricks. They are tools to break through the noise of a distracted world. But I must warn you. Being unforgettable is a burden. When you use these tools, you change how people see you. You become a magnet. People will want your time. They will want your attention. They will project their fantasies onto you. Once you turn this on, it is very hard to turn it off. Most people are happy being invisible. It is easier. It is quieter. But if you are still watching this video, I suspect you are tired of being quiet. You want to be the one who haunts their thoughts at 3 a.m. Now you have the keys. The question is, are you brave enough to use them? If you want to know more secrets about the human mind, subscribe, but do it quietly. We don't want everyone to know.